Okay, good morning, everyone, and welcome to week 13. You have roughly 2 more weeks to go. Week 14 is next week, and then week 15. So this week we will continue our discussion on transnational crimes in PNG, and the presentations that were supposed to be staged on Friday, we've moved it to Monday. So we'll begin with Wilma representing Group 6, and then we'll follow our given list. So Wilma, please, can you start the session? Thank you.
Good morning. Can you guys hear me? All right. Good morning once again, everyone, and Mr. Yagura. I will be representing Group 6 and give our response to the question under week 12. So the question reads, what factors contribute to the difference between PNG's score for heroin trade and cannabis trade as depicted in the Global Organized Crime Index 2021? Now, before going further into the presentation, I would like to define the key term organized crime. Britannica 2024 defined organized crime as, and I quote, complex of highly centralized enterprises set up for the purpose of engaging in illegal activities. Such organizations engage in offenses such as cargo theft, fraud, robbery, kidnapping for ransom, and the demanding of protection payments, end quote. So the main contributing factors that we have identified to the difference in PNG's score for heroin trade and cannabis trade are, the first one is market trade for networks, and the second one is demand and supply of the two drugs. So these two factors are interrelated. The marketing network of both drugs may differ due to the demand and supply of heroin and cannabis. Heroin and cannabis are highly demanded drugs both domestically in PNG and internationally. It all comes back to the drugs consumers' preferences. In PNG, other factors such as economic and culture may influence the production and consumption of these drugs. Cannabis comes from marijuana. Looking at the production of marijuana in PNG, marijuana is grown in many parts of PNG, and so its consumption is also high. Looking at the production and consumption of heroin in PNG, it is low because of its supply. According to the Worldwide Report 2010, the major producers of heroin are Afghanistan, Myanmar, Mexico, and Colombia. So this clearly means that PNG heroin traffickers have more difficulties moving heroin into PNG because of the risk of being caught smuggling this drug into the country compared to cannabis. Again, it comes back to the established marketing networks of heroin in the country. Now, to conclude, the two main factors contributing to the difference between PNG's score for heroin trade and cannabis trade, as depicted in the Global Organized Crime Index, Crime Index 2021, are the criminal network and market, and also demand and supply of the two drugs. Thank you. That's all.
Thank you very much, Wilma and Group 6. Now let's listen to Gorati.
Hi, everyone. Okay, I'll be presenting on behalf of Group 4. So for week 12, we were given the question, what accounts for the discrepancy between PNG's score for human trafficking and human smuggling as depicted in the Global Organized Crime Index 2021. So before answering the question, let's just have a general view of human trafficking and smuggling in PNG. Human trafficking is a pervasive and multifaceted crime in PNG, targeting local and foreign victims alike. It takes many forms, including labor exploitation, sexual exploitation, forced marriage, child labor, and domestic servitude. When it comes to human smuggling, Papua New Guinea is thought to be a minor transit country for people heading to Australia, as well as a destination country for individuals seeking work in sectors such as logging, mining, and fishing. The lack of resources and security measures in PNG makes it an attractive country for smugglers to to move people. Now, to answer the question, what accounts for the discrepancy between PNG score for human trafficking and smuggling? According to the Global Organized Crime Index 2021, one possible explanation for this would be the fact that island nations in Melanesia are much closer to the large regional destination markets for organized crime, which such as Australia and New Zealand. If you look at the world map, and as we all know, PNG is very close to Australia, where the transit can happen, and in which they could also reach New Zealand. So as the last transit stages before reaching these large markets, organized crime groups are increasingly using Melanesian islands as transit hubs for arms, cocaine, and synthetic drugs, which drives up overall crime levels. Therefore, the main contributing factor to the increased crime level in PNG is the geographical location where the country is situated, which creates an easy transit hub for human trafficking and smuggling to take place. That's all from Group 4. Thank you.
Thank you, Goroti and Group 4. So human trafficking is a lucrative trade and we are very close to Australia. So because of the economic condition, some of you might want to be smuggled down there. So it's a good business. Just in case any of you are interested, you can ask Goroti and Group 4 on our discussion forum later on. So questions, comments for Goroti and Wilma, please share in our discussion forum for this week. Tanya, let's listen to you.
10 of you. Thank you, Mr. Yagera. Good morning, class. I will be representing Group 7 in our response to week 12 question, which reads, what accounts for the distinction between PNG's score for mafia-style groups and criminal networks as presented in the Global Organized Crime Index 2021? Firstly, let us get to understand a few key terms and phrases. Let us define mafia groups and criminal networks. According to Global Organized Crime Index, mafia-style groups are defined as organized criminal groups that are primarily funded by illicit activities. There are 4 defining, although not exclusive, features or characters of mafia-style groups, and they are no name, a defined leadership, territorial control, and identifiable membership. On the other hand, we have criminal networks that are defined as loose networks of criminal associates engaging in criminal activities and including relatively small groups that do not control territories and are not widely known by a name or with an unknown leader. Criminal networks are involved in illicit trafficking of producers, but do not have territorial control or any other defining feature of mafia-style groups. So moving on, the Global Organized Crime Index 2021 evaluated 193 UN members states according to the criminality on a score from 1 to 10, which in turn is based on the criminal market scores and criminal actor scores. The criminal actors category include mafia-style groups, criminal networks, state-embedded actors, and foreign actors. So for Papua New Guinea, the scores for mafia-style groups and criminal networks are different. The scores from mafia-style group is 1.00, while the score for criminal networks is 8.002. Now, to answer our given question, the distinction could be due to the different nature and impact of these 2 types of criminal actors in PNG. Why? Because mafia-style groups typically refer to organized crimes or simply groups that have a formal hierarchy and engage in a broad range of criminal activities. They often exercise control over territories and populations, and may even provide certain services to local communities, thereby gaining social legitimacy. Mafia groups are not really dominant in PNG. However, the 2 known groups are the notorious groups led by William Caprice and Tommy Baker. who possessed some characteristics of mafia-style groups. These two criminal leaders got involved in many criminal activities, from robbing banks to killing innocent people, and ended up being the most wanted criminals in PNG that the government had given direct orders to be shot to death if caught. Whereas on the other hand, the criminal networks in PNG, yes, are not solid and spread out. They can involve a wide range of actors, including individual groups and even state officials. These networks are typically involved in specific criminal markets such as drug trafficking and human trafficking, smuggling. PNG is known for corruption. For instance, if you look at PNGI Central, you will see that many of the MPs we have are involved in shady activities and have criminal network records and investigated and reported on the investigative website. One of the cases that we'd like to share with you is called Profiting from Sickness, the dark economy of the public health in PNG. And it is about the shady relationship between Borneo Pharmaceutical Limited and the National Departments of Health. Due to time limitation, you can search the case on the website if you wish to explore this investigative case. So in this case of PNG, the low score for mafia-style groups suggests that such organizations may not have a significant presence or impact in our country. Conversely, the high score for criminal networks indicates that this type of actors play a major role in PNG's criminal landscape. Thank you, and that is our presentation. That is our response to our given question for week 12. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Tanya, and your group. Very interesting answer, and I'm sure all of you have many questions to ask. Apart from Tommy Baker and William Caprice, I've heard of two other criminal gangs in Port Moresby, but I'm not sure. Maybe some of you can investigate further and find out. There's one big one called Bomai 007, and then you have Civic Mafia. So I don't know. You have to, those in Moresby, you should know the name Bomai 007. We'll see a lot of people getting tattoos on their hands. They'll write Bomai 00 or something. And the network is wide. It goes, there's some in Moresby, Medang, all over Papua New Guinea. But no one has done research into that, or no journalist has investigated the existence of criminal networks or mafia-style organizations in PNG. So it's a gap. Maybe some of you might want to do research and write about it in the years to come. Okay, thank you, Tanya. Let's listen to Bridget.
Hello, hello everyone. Okay, I'll be representing Group 5 to present our question under week 12. What explains the difference between PNG scores for flora crimes and fauna crimes as indicated in the Global Organized Crime Index 2021? First of all, according to the Human Trafficking Research, the Global Organized Crime Index is the first tool of its kind designed to assess levels of organized crime and resilience to organized criminal activity. It includes in its ranking all the UN member states, 193 countries. As stated in the GOCI, out of 193 countries, PNG was rated 69th overall with a score of 5.44 out of 10 for criminality. This means it's in the middle when it comes to organized crime compared to other countries. When we dive deeper into specific types of crimes, PNG got a score of 8 out of 10 for flora crimes like illegal logging and a score out of 5 out of 10 for fauna crimes like illegal poaching. This tells us that there's more focus on stopping crimes against plants than against animals in PNG. Now, let's talk about why this might be happening. The scores for PNG's resilience in fighting crime gave gives us some clue. For law enforcement, PNG got a low score of 3 out of 10, meaning that meaning there might not be enough police or resources to stop all the crimes. However, it got a better score of 4.5 out of 10 for international cooperation, which means other countries are helping PNG to fight crime, especially in protecting plants and wildlife. In terms of political leadership and governance, PNG got a score of 3 out of 10, suggesting that there might be some challenges with how the government is handling the situation. Moreover, transparency and accountability also got a low score of 2 out of 10, indicating that there might not be enough openness about what's happening with the environment and wildlife. On the bright side, PNG scored a 5 out of 10 for having good national policies and laws to protect plants and animals, and when it comes to the judicial system and detention. PNG got a decent score of 4.5 out of 10, meaning that when criminals are caught, they're being held accountable. Therefore, to answer the question, the differences in crime rates for flora and fauna in Papua New Guinea, as shown in the Global Organized Crime Index 2021, are influenced by a mix of factors. These include challenges in areas like limited law enforcement resources, international cooperation, governance challenges, transparency issues, and also efforts from both within PNG and from other countries to protect the environment and wildlife. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Bridget, and your group for sharing with us your answer to the assigned question. We'll move on to the next presenter. If you have any questions or comments for Bridget and other presenters, please share in our discussion forum for this week. Jerusa.
Good morning, everyone. For this session, I will be representing Group 3 and give a response to our question. Do you believe that the police capacity development programs currently underway in the Pacific Island countries and territories, as mentioned by Watson, Sosa Santos, and OS, will effectively mitigate the rise in transnational crime in the region? Firstly, let's define what police capacity development programs. According to Watson and others 2021, the PCDPs are initiatives aimed at enhancing governments and organizations' ability to combat transnational crime effectively through activities such as training, technical assistance, resource support, and legislative reforms. In the Pacific Island countries and territories, several police capacity development programs are underway, including the Regional Assistant Mission to Solomon Islands, the Pacific Prevention of Domestic Violence Program, the Partnership for Pacific Policing, the Pacific Police Development Program Regional, and the Cyber Safety Pacifica. These initiatives involve collaborations between international partners and local law enforcement agencies to strengthen their capacity to prosecute offenders and disrupt criminal networks. However, despite these efforts, significant challenges persist. According to MacLeod 2009, policing organizations in many Pacific Island countries and territories are often under-resourced. The complexity of transnational and organized crime makes it notoriously difficult to detect, monitor, investigate, and respond effectively to the illegal activities involved, even for well-resourced police organizations. In Pacific Island countries and territories, the challenges are exacerbated by the vast geographic expanses of ocean and the limited resources available for patrolling it. Also stated by Florent at 2009, for many Pacific Island countries and territories, the legal systems are not well equipped to deal with the magnitude or types of crimes taking place within the jurisdiction. Some crime classifications are yet to be included in local legislation, further limiting the extent to which they can be adequately addressed. Therefore, this organization has encountered myriad challenges in the attempts to mount appropriate responses to new and emerging threats. Dialogue at the regional level has raised questions about the response capacity of security service providers, including customs, immigration, and police, to deal with current and emerging transnational and organized crime threats. Given these challenges, it's unclear whether the current police capacity development programs will effectively mitigate the rise in transnational crime in the region. While these initiatives are put in place to improve security, their success depends on sustained funding, effective coordination, and a long-term commitment to address the root cause of crime. To conclude, while the Pacific Island countries' territories have made developments in enhancing law enforcement capacity, more comprehensive strategies are needed to effectively combat transnational crime and ensure the safety and security of the region. Thank you, and that is all from Group 3.
Okay, thank you very much, Jerusha and Group 3. Our other two groups will present on Friday along with groups 4, 5, 6, and 7 in our last session on transnational crime. All right, so 5 interesting presentations. If you have any questions or comments for Jerusha and Wilma, Dorothy, Tanya, and Bridget, please share in our discussion forum. But from what I've observed, our law and order system is weak. 3 weeks ago, a relative of mine came down from Simbu with 20 kg of marijuana, 20 kilograms of marijuana in his bag, all packed up nicely. And he was able to just travel through various checkpoints and then from Medeng to travel the North Coast Highway all the way up to where they get the boat and go to Wewak. And then we went to Wewak and from Wewak to Vanimo and Vanimo to the border. And now he's waiting for the exchange to happen. That's what he told me last Friday. So they'll bring phones and guns across and then he take the phones and the guns and then travel back. And the same thing is happening in Manus. Manus is now a hotspot for marijuana because of the US, Australian Army, and PNG Defense. They are PNG Navy, their biggest consumer of marijuana. So it's a lucrative trade now. Young boys in Medeng are traveling via small boats and transporting marijuana to Manus Island. And they're selling it to the US and Australian navies, including PNG as well. So it's interesting what is happening. And the point to note is that they're doing it. It's a random type of arrangement. It's not organized. There's no big criminal cartel or network that has monopoly over the marijuana trade in PNG. So it's just individuals looking for opportunities to make money, and they're not part of a major gang. So in the future, 5 to 10 years time, if we have these big cartels or big organized groups or mafia style organizations, then it will be a bit more organized and we'll see an increase in drug trade as well as firearms, and there'll be a lot of issues. So maybe I'm just giving you people ideas to start a criminal organization or mafia organization or something. You can think about that. You'll be graduating soon, so become a mafia boss and take over PNG. All right, Tasol. Kiglig Tok Tasol na. I'll let you people go. You can continue the discussion in our forum. And we'll meet again this Friday to complete our session. And next week we will have 2 presentations just to talk about before you go. One from a naval officer at Lombroom and the other from Sausa Santos. He was supposed to confirm his presentation, but he got involved in a car accident. So I gave him a bit of time. So maybe next week Friday we will listen to him, and Monday to a captain from the PNG Navy. He'll talk to us about what they do and how they protect the PNG territorial waters. Okay, just 2 talks out as well. So that's all. You all have a good day and see all of you on Friday. And make sure you complete our final session for this week, the final 6 marks. So once by Sunday, I'll tally everything, and then you'll know your internal out of 60%. And those of you who've advised that your internal is low, you need to make sure you complete this last session 5, and I will add your marks to your tally or to your assessment out of 60. And all the best in your SMAC campaign. All right, that's all. Bye for now.